Welcome to the Heavy Spoilers Show. I'm your host Definition, and if Westworld Season 3 left you feeling like Serac or the Man in Black, then this is the video for you. The season finale contained 2 post-credit scenes, and throughout this video we'll be breaking down what they actually mean. We've already touched upon this in our prior video, however there's a ton of more details that I definitely think are worth going over. There will of course be heavy spoilers here, so if you haven't had a chance to check out the episode, then it's time to take yourself offline and exit out the video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel for content like this every day, and please drop a thumbs up if you enjoy the video. With that out of the way, thank you for clicking this. Now let's get into our breakdown of Westworld Season 3's ending. Okay, so Westworld Season 3 ended with Dolores uploading Solomon's admin powers into Rehoboam, which then granted access to Caleb, who was able to shut the machine down. This once more gave humanity a choice, and together he and Maeve headed out into LA to watch the world collapse in a scene that was very similar to the ending of Fight Club. Elsewhere, Bernard headed into the Sublime to find out what to do after the end of the world, and it did leave a lot of things open-ended, including the fate of William, who was heading to Delos to destroy the hosts. That's where we pick up in our first post-credit scene, and we watch as William enters the Delos International building in Dubai. I love how when he walks past 2 women he says, "Do you know what they make in there?" And it's hilarious how he's acting like he owns the place, and he even shoots a security guard before venturing to the research department, which is where the hosts are made. Now I have seen some people theorizing that this bit takes place in the future, but personally I believe it happens almost immediately after the events of the 3rd season. The main reason that this theory came up is because William's assets were frozen and Dubai is a long way from San Francisco. However, he did meet with a banker who unfroze them after confirming that he was still alive. Serac had the character declared dead before wanting to send him off for the deep sleep with the rest of the outliers, but this was halted and yeah, he can meet with the banker and once more get access. Plus, there's dried blood beside his mouth, so it's unlikely that this scene takes place much long after. Add that to the Hale healing and yada yada yada. Look mate, it's a stupid theory, and that's coming from the guy who's famous for stupid theories. Now upon reaching the host making department, William comes face to face with Hale, who is almost healed except for her arm. We did see a hint of her last week in which the side of her face could be made out and it was badly damaged. William states that he thought hosts could heal themselves, but clearly he doesn't know the wreck that she was, and it's likely taken hours for her just to get to this point. In shows when a character is healing, they often hint at the damage being repaired, and I think this arm was left in place to let us know that she is healing herself, so that when she returns fully healed for the 4th season, it's not too jarring. Hale congratulates him and says, "You're right on time," implying that it was always part of a plan to supplant the character. Throughout Season 3, Dolores has slowly been replacing real-world figures with hosts, and we saw this of course in Hale, Connells, the Yakuza boss, and the SFPD officer Lawrence. She too has done this with William, and out comes a copy of him donning his classic Westworld getup. She knew that William was planning to destroy all hosts, and this would interfere with her plans, and thus she created a duplicate that can take over his business activities within the company. Host William shows that he knows everything that the real one will say and do through saying his thoughts in tandem with him. He then slits his throat, and I don't know if it's just me, but Hale looked a bit sad, and this may be because she knew she was killing a man that at one point meant a lot to her. At least when she was Dolores, it all gets a bit confusing. Anyway, I love how in the episode Maeve said to Dolores that she was trying to make another William, and she literally did this at the end. In the series, most notably James Delos, copying someone always failed because humans were too complicated. However, the 2 hosts state that William is relatively simple and easy to predict. So we can guess that because William's a cruel and basic man, he's easier to duplicate. This too was given lip service by Ford, who, when he met William in Season 2, told him that he was a pretty basic Liam Dempsey Jr. type guy. Those weren't his exact words, but William wasn't too happy that he was a titan of industry that was pretty simple when it all boiled down to it. So that's how she's copied him when others have failed. We then see that the 2 are building an army of hosts, and it's likely that they are filling these with the data collected by Delos in Westworld. Hale made a copy of this when Serac told her to wipe it, and she will now be able to replace a large portion of humanity. I'm guessing that at some point the plan was always to do this, as we did see that Musashi had barrels full of host liquid, but perhaps Dolores had a change of heart due to her interactions with Caleb. Hale has not had this with the character, and thus she still hates humanity. Dolores is such a rebel that even copies of her are going against Dolores, and she's clearly going against the intended plan because she believes that Dolores was just using her as a pawn. So basically, Hale now has an army of hosts that are all ready to take over humanity, and there will clearly be a human versus host battle at some point. But who will humanity's army be? Well, you may remember that in episode 7, Caleb and Dolores stumbled across a bunch of frozen outliers which Serac had removed from society. I believe that these will be the forces that the humans use to take on the machines, and that Jean-Mi will come into his own as he was capable of building Rehoboam, whereas Serac seemed pretty helpless in its collapse. Always back up your work. As for William's fate, personally, I don't believe that he's dead, and it's possible that we have seen his host copy before. At the end of season 2, there was a post-credit scene in which a version of William stumbled into the forge to find it in ruins. Clearly some time had passed, and not too long after the episode's release, showrunners Lisa Joy and Jonathan Nolan cleared up its meaning, stating that it was long after the world had ended. William seemingly came across a host copy of his daughter, who said that he had been through the park and mission several times, and that they'd been testing for fidelity. With the knowledge that we have now, it seems like this William was the copy, and that the host version will always return to the place that the real William went to after killing his daughter. William's host itself was operating in its own loop, constantly trying to get beyond the death of his daughter, which was the one act that defined the real one's life. He wished to find out if he was real or not, and clearly the host has carried across the original's existential crisis. If this is, of course, the host William. It may be that the real one survived, but after being faced with a version of himself, he now struggles even more with his own reality. Now, because we know that William ends up in a dusty and dank future, it explains why Bernard ends up looking like he's been antiqued. Shoutouts everyone who remembers Jackass. The last time we saw him, he was peering into the sublime while Stubbs bled out into the bathtub. But as we know from Maeve's trip to Warworld, time inside a simulation moves differently to how it does in the real world. It looks like he finally has an answer on what to do once the world has ended, but clearly Dolores wanted him to visit the Sublime for a reason. However, it could just be that this was carried out by Dolores to hide him until the world ended, and she may have deliberately set the time delay in order to protect him. Either way, it's likely that this was in order to sync Bernard up with William, and it is possible that season 4 could be dealing with two timelines similar to the prior entries. We may see how the end of the world plays out through the eyes of Caleb and Maeve, whilst we see the repercussions of it on the other side through William and Bernard. This season sort of put everything back on track and tightened up how convoluted everything was, and I think this was purposely put in place so that we can go ahead in this new direction without too many things getting in the way. Now, before we get into the theory on Dolores, I just want to let you know we're giving away a free copy of the Marvel Phase 3 Part 1 box set to one random subscriber. All you have to do to be in with a chance of winning is like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave your thoughts on the updates in the comment section below. The winner is going to be chosen at random on the 15th of May, and the set will be shipped out from then to whoever gets the prize, so best of luck to everyone who takes part. Okay, so season 3 seemingly ends with Dolores' death, however I don't think that it's going to be the last that we'll see of her. Not only is her code in Musashi's head, but it also exists within Lawrence and Hale too. Basically, if you put any of their pearls inside a Dolores looking host, then I doubt many would be able to tell the difference. Well, maybe Hale, but she's a bit crazy, but you get what I mean. Other than the experience with Caleb, they have the same backstory, and at least there are other versions of her out there. We learned in the episode that all of the hosts are copies of Dolores in some ways, so I think that all of them will have an aspect of her, and thus it's really hard to kill her. She's died thousands of times in the show, so there's no reason that she can't come back. Though we haven't had anything official just yet, I do believe that she will be returning at some point, as, let's be honest, Dolores is the heart of the show. Now obviously I'd love to hear your thoughts on the post-credit scene, as I'm sure there'll be a lot of different theories. Make sure you comment below and let me know, and if you enjoyed this video then please give it a thumbs up, and make sure you check out our full finale breakdown, which is going to be linked at the end. If you want to support the channel from as little as 99 cents a month, then please click the join button below. We massively appreciate it, and as a thank you get access to content early. If you want to come chat to us after the show, either follow us at DefinitionYT or click the Discord link in the description below. Those are the best ways to keep up to date with heavy spoilers, so hopefully we see you over there very soon. This is a channel for people who are never missing television, so if that's the kind of thing you like, you need to subscribe to Definition. Thanks again for taking the time to watch this, you've been the best, and I'll see you next time. Take care, peace.